So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Conjunction Through Houses video series. And today we're going to be covering Sun and Moon in the fourth house and what happens when Sun and Moon are conjunct in the fourth house of your birth chart. And as always, if you do not know if you have this conjunction, what sign it's in, what nakshatra it's in, and all the other astrological details, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report in the shop section, including my books and consultations and all the other good stuff. So let's get started with Sun and Moon in the fourth house. So this is should be quite simple. Now the first thing I want to do is I want to ask you a question. Who is strong in the fourth house? Is it the Sun or the Moon? Without the signs, who is more stronger? It's the Moon. Why? Because Moon naturally controls the fourth house with the sign of Cancer. Even though you might be Taurus ascendant, Capricorn ascendant, Moon controls the fourth house. But Moon also gets directional strength in the fourth house. So Moon naturally becomes strong. And it's the direct opposite to Sun. Sun loses its directional strength, meaning its Digbala. So we see that Moon finds strength here. Moon is not weak. Whether it's waxing or waning, Moon finds strength. But as I told you, when the Moon is waxing, a person is very outward. They want to do something for society. When it's waning, person wants to retrieve in, and person looks for their own sustenance first. Person looks for their own pleasure first before they can pleasure society. Why? Because if, let's say, somebody is depressed, not happy, all the stress and anxiety in the world, life is just, haywire. Will they be able to interact and provide anything good for the world? No. So fine, waxing Moon doesn't need that, and they provide. Waning Moon needs assistance. Waning Moon needs some sustenance, needs some pleasure, needs something to store within themselves, so then they can do something better for the world. And so this is why waning Moon people usually blossom later in life. Waxing waning people are all blossoming from the get-go. Blossoming doesn't necessarily mean rich. We always go for wealth and rich. No, it's just very outward, wanting to do this, wanting to do that. So that's what happened. Now, you've got soul and mind together in the fourth house. The mind and the soul are in the fourth house. That means this is a person who is very much a homebody. They want to be home. They want to be in their own private space, including their own homeland. They find their agility, they find their prana when they're in home doing things for the people in the home or people in the homeland. And actually, I've seen quite a lot of people who are working in government section with Sun and Moon in the fourth house. Why? Because fourth house is what? The seat of power. The seat of power is the fourth house. And Sun is the king. Moon is the queen. Both king and queen are sitting on the throne, the seat of power. So these people actually become quite powerful. Don't think like, oh, this is a bad moon because it's in the dark. They were born at night and Sun wasn't there without the Digbala. No, it's just that Sun rises later in life. That's all it is. So just because you're born at night doesn't mean that Sun will not rise the next day. Sun would rise the next day. Same thing in life. When a planet does not have a directional strength, Digbala, it finds its ways to its direction through progression in life, progression of the age. And these are the people that use, okay, so in my own experience, I have seen if there's any malefic impact on Sun and Moon in this house, a person can have psychological issues, psychological damage, maybe through the parents. One can feel very inferior, like like how Indian parents are. Like if you're not studying, they think you're like this, the waste of the world. You are no good. Those things can impact. However, also one thing I've seen with whenever Sun is in the fourth house is usually a parent Oh, I'm sorry. Usually, a child is raised by a single parent, or they always feel like, you know what? My mother wasn't there. My father was always there. My father did this. My father made the lunch for me in the morning. Of course, I love my mother, but she just was so busy in other things. Or vice versa. Like my mother always took care of me. Father always left for work, came late at night, didn't really see him much until we were older. So they really feel that they were raised by a single parent. Now you want to see the sign. Even before the nakshatra, look at the sign. The sign placement can really show if it's really being raised by a single parent in a harsh way or just in a normal way. Like what are harsh signs? Like Scorpio, Aquarius, Aries. If you think exalted sun is good, then you haven't been doing like real astrological practice. Sun in Aries can give dictator like fathers, dictator like mothers, and fourth house is the house of nourishment. So you could be under strict law and strict rule. Like especially if you notice Sun in Aries and Ashwini, the individual and their father would be just a dictator in life. So don't think, oh, Sun is in a 10 degree of exaltation, it's in Ashwini. This person is so enlightened and so spiritual, and they're like an honorable king like Lord Ram. No, don't make those mistakes without seeing the impact of other planets on this particular sun, and make sure you look at the sun in the Vamsha. How is it really that strong, positive sun, or is it manipulating others from within? And especially these people, you will notice whenever they buy a property, they get a pretty powerful home. Or even if it's a small home, like a 2-bedroom home, when you enter the home or even the front door, you're gonna feel like the way they would decorate things, it's like somebody powerful lives inside. There's a lot of light and illuminations inside. Why? Because you've got 2 luminaries in the fourth house, sun and moon. And because these people find their true self in the home, they make sure that my home is the reflection of my light. And 3 times, I think, in my life, I have remembered this with individuals who have this in their home, in their horoscope, one of them being actually one of my cousins. It's a small, normal home, but right when you enter the front door, they've got the cheetah, like, it's not a tiger or it's not a lion, it's like the cheetah like statue sitting there. The door has like this nice symbol of I forgot but it was like a very powerful symbol. But when you go inside the home, it's like, it's very nice. Okay, there's a lot of light in there, a lot of not just beauty but power. Like let's say if you were to walk in Parliament, in the office of Narendra Modi, or if you were to walk into White House, feels like somebody powerful is here. Even though they're regular folks, IT people, doctors, engineers, but they have this like, hey, you're now in my kingdom, let me take care of you because this is my kingdom. But most of the time, there'll be very homebodies and always thinking about the home. Oh, I'm going to do this in the home, I'm going to do that in the home. Or if they're doing something extroverted, I want to do something for my homeland. Fine, I'm living in Poland and UK or US, but I got to do something for my homeland, people of my home, because that's where my illumination shines. Okay, so this is the conjunction, which can of course we can go into details like far more once we know the sign and nakshatra. Okay, so anyway guys, this was my analysis of sun and moon in the fourth house. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below, and if you want to know where your sun and moon are, for that check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.